Zelda Breath of the Wild was and still is a phenomenal title, and its sequel, Tears of the Kingdom, damn near perfectly encapsulates everything people loved about the original whilst literally elevating Link to new heights. Unfortunately, however, the typical nutjob who likes to spread anti-Semitic conspiracy theories, along with spewing damn near every form of verbal bigotry you could possibly imagine, has decided to claim the game is woke garbage, and as a result, not a masterpiece. When I say that this review from Synthetic Man contains quite literal straight up and undeniable racism, anti-Semitism and pretty much any form of bigotry you could imagine, I'm not joking. This is a man who frankly should probably be put into a straitjacket for his own safety. After all, he's a grown man who unironically is attempting to claim that Tears of the Kingdom is propaganda intended to spread the satanic belief of Jews.
And to dip into the schizo paint a little bit, the king being a goat man, who are the Zonai people who came from the heavens, is borderline satanic imagery. I have no idea if this is intentional or not, but Japan used to be infamous for putting weird Christian symbolism in anime and occasionally video games. So this could be an extension of that, or again, if you want to take the schizo angle, this is a result of a certain cult organization full of quote-unquote elites that are subtly inserting their propaganda into video games.
For anyone who isn't terminally online like myself and has not researched far-right and or far-left political conspiracy theories, what this seemingly unmedicated schizophrenic individual is referring to is a flat-out, blatantly false anti-Semitic conspiracy theory that claims a secret Jewish organization exists which solely operates in order to spread Satanism whilst also attempting to groom young children into their cult via propaganda inserted into mainstream media. Of course, a popularization of this conspiracy over the past 100 years can be attributed to the Nazis. Now, is there any evidence to suggest this is true? No. In a much more modern context, this theory is merely a means of deeply bigoted individuals laughably attempting to justify that bigotry is anything but bigotry. This way they can pretend they aren't just horrifically terrible human beings. Oh, and for anyone who is somewhat skeptical of this guy's anti-Semitic beliefs, this is not the first time he has shared this. It is an insanely frequent aspect of his video game reviews.
To other weird red flags like visiting a synagogue for no fucking reason. And again, can't even get into it or I'll be demonetized, shadow banned, all that shit. But it is weird that we get a mini history lesson on Judaism in the middle of this zombie apocalypse story.
He's also oddly obsessed with a hell of a lot of the underage characters.
Not to mention the quote-unquote subtle homosexual imagery from Breath of the Wild has been expanded even further in this one, and I already know people are gonna say I'm reading into it and no kid's gonna see this shit, but that's exactly how you desensitize people and how you groom them, right? You expose them to things.
You just know when he was writing the script for this unhinged rant, he was hyping himself up for having such an impressive showcase of intellect here. It truly takes the brain power of a genius to take the definition of a word and then nonsensically apply it to something it has absolutely zero correlation to. I mean, what else are you meant to do when reviewing a video game? Actually review the video game objectively? What a stupid idea.
The vow that each of the new sages takes to Link looks like they're proposing to him. And Sidon, the giant shark guy, people already made a bunch of gay lewd images between him and Link when Breath of the Wild came out. Well, now him quite literally putting a ring on his finger.
It all makes sense now. After all, the creators of Zelda were obviously just like you searching for footer porn of all their favorite Tears of the Kingdom characters on r/Rule34. I think it's an unequivocal objective statement to claim the only reason this game got delayed was as a means of implementing more ways to promote such degenerate behavior. In all seriousness though, I do have to say it is kind of weird how often this guy talks about his tendencies to specifically search for all of this supposedly satanic shit. You already know he is 100% into it and is desperately trying to cope with that fact.
And Riju's a Gerudo, and if you've seen any of their Rule 34, you know they're usually sporting a little something extra. That's why I'm gonna... That's why I'm going doing your pussy tonight, Link.
I mean, I know I for one can at least attest to the fact I'm not searching up and going out of my way to find literal child pornography, aka lolicon on r/rule34. You certainly don't just stumble across what Satanic Panic Man is discussing here. You have to go out of your way to find this shit. And to claim that the makers of Zelda are trying to gear their games towards these pedophiles is ridiculous. Nintendo is not catering their games towards random degenerates online like yourself who regularly search for lolicon. Remember though guys, I'm not a bigot. The gays are just in my walls trying to groom my kids and make them gay by forcing me to search up porn of underage characters. He's also totally not the guy that in the very same response video where he calls LGBT members groomers outright defended child pornography.
Do you want to know the amount of times I've seen some random Twitter user advocate for the banning of lolly, and then it turns out they're an actual pedophile who's been arrested or was arrested after that post? It's not a fucking coincidence, dude. These people are fucked in the head. I don't even give a shit about lolly. I think it's just drawings. FBI, open up!
I wish I could say the rest of his response video and original video were a significant improvement compared to the rest.
That is one big pile of shit.
But it isn't. Not even close. The rest of his original video is some genuine criticism, game mechanics, and story beats with a huge amount of racism sprinkled on top.
There's all sorts of little nuggets of wokeness, like Paya now having a giant brown boyfriend who looks like a Giga Chad in comparison to Link, despite the fact she was thirsting for his dick in the last one.
It's fascinating to see how over such a minuscule time frame, the term woke, along with general anti-wokeness on the internet, has gone from legitimate endeavors to prevent exploitation of minorities from large companies looking to make quick cash off of pandering in a way which damages either just the show or the source material it is adapting to flat-out racism. Ostensibly, it would seem black characters merely exist is a reason enough to say a product is woke garbage. Given how much he seems to hate this specifically, it honestly wouldn't surprise me if he had some past experience getting cucked by big black men. In fact, I wouldn't be surprised because he may as well have alluded to it in his response video.
Well, despite what you might think of me, I did know multiple people who had sex in middle school and high school, and they weren't lying, dude.
You already know who those two individuals likely were. His crush and some big black dude with a futa tier cock.
And of course, one of the founders of Hyrule set the stage for the entire series, created a wonderful Wakanda-esque utopia, is one of these brown Hylians. Almost literally, we was Kangs and shit.
What did he say?
Almost literally, we was Kangs and shit.
For those of you who are blissfully unaware, we was Kangs is a meme originally utilized for mocking black Americans who believe in the conspiracy theory, claiming high-profile Egyptians were originally of dark skin tone. Something that's been all but disproven by experts in the historical space, but as proven by Synthetic Man, it can be used in a derogatory and blatantly racist manner. Synthetic Cuck is clearly using it in an absurdly racist manner here, and indefensibly so. How someone can not only be racist in a review of a fucking Zelda game, but also include transphobia, homophobia, anti-Semitism, a bit of cuckoldry, and an incy-wincy bit of pedophilia is just pure, unfiltered insanity. Hell, acting like this is a rewrite of history, even in the context of Zelda, is delusional. Honestly, for a guy who is constantly crying about how much he has to censor his bigotry on YouTube.
Obviously, I have no proof that free or any other groups I probably am not even allowed to say on YouTube are part of BlackRock.
I've got to admit, it's pretty damn impressive how he hasn't been banned off of the site yet, considering how he's broken every single rule one could think of outside of copyright abuse. Hell, his anti-vax bullshit alone is ludicrous.
These people are the perfect cattle because they believe everything that government and corporations tell them. They're probably vaxxed and triple boosted.
And in all honesty, I do love his claims of being anti-censorship.
At no point did I advocate for censorship of a Nintendo game.
Since he'll come out with that absolute horseshit, and then in the exact same video come wildly close for a call of violence against those who disagree with him and outright saying they should be censored.
These are a bunch of lunatics all talking to each other. The type of people who will call you an incel when they themselves have never had sex. This is why we need to bring back asylums, unironically, and I don't care if these people are abused because they deserve it. You're really telling me these people should have the right to vote? The type of people who are quite literally not a part of society.
It is no wonder as to why even other anti-SJW channels on YouTube avoid association with this delinquent as if he were the plague. Where you're such an unlikable and such an intensely bigoted content creator that even channels like Geeks and Gamers, who posted a genuinely racist review of Prey and then went on to defend it after people called them out for calling the main actress racial slurs inside the review, do not want to be even slightly associated with your brand. You ought to be alarmed by it. All things considered, I don't think it's remotely conceivable that someone could come near to matching the outlandish horseshit spewed within Synthetic Man's comically abhorrent review for Tears of the Kingdom. And with all that being said, I cannot be asked to deal with more of this unmedicated degenerate schizo ranting, which means we have finally come to the end of my video. So with all that being said, please do not forget to do all the things YouTubers love to beg you to do, aka check out the Discord server, Twitter, as well as like, comment, and subscribe. So I will see you all in the next video.